Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hearts for Jesus podcast. Guys, I am really excited about this one. We have a guest here. His name is George Black. He's the author of The Next Level Entrepreneur and founder of Live Truly Free. So welcome, George. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about what Live Truly Free is?
Sure. Thanks, Garrett, and I'm glad to be here. So, guys, I'm just like Garrett said, I'm the author of The Next Level Entrepreneur, Focus Your Passions, Map Your Directions, Build a Great Company. I've been working with entrepreneurs and business owners for over 25 years. It's across about 16 plus industries. I work as an outsourced chief financial officer, and my average stay with a client was 4 or 5 years. So I got to see a whole lot of situations, turn a lot of situations around or help them go to their next level. So, but if I summed it all up, I'd say it like this. What I do is I guide entrepreneurs into greater fulfillment through sustainable growth and increased profitability.
Yeah, and I've got to say that I got your book when I was 17, and it's what just completely propelled me into the world of entrepreneurialism. It's an awesome story. It's just full of it's a great process. It walks you through a strategic process called the Next Level Navigator, right?
Right. Yeah. And I used, so the book came out of, this is a process I developed, now 15 years ago or something. And I took a company called Rackspace through it, and they became the number one hosting company as a result of the Next Level Navigator. They went from 100 million in revenue to 500 million in revenue. And I guided their corporate strategy for 4 years until they went public. The process absolutely works. Garrett, let me just say one other thing. The copy of the book you actually read was a really early version. The current edition, The Next Level Entrepreneur, is fantastic. And anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you will love it. It will help you focus your passions and achieve your own personal next level.
Yeah. I know you've been working on the book. You've been rewriting, doing some revisions, and I know it's getting better and better as it goes.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's finished.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. Even the version I got all that time ago, with that, I started my company right out of high school. When I was 20, I won a national business championship, put on by Score and Sam's Club, the 2016 American Small Business Championship. And that was all from using your process, and just kept going and building up on that company. But I think what really draws me to you, George, is just your passion for helping a person to live truly free. Just like it's what your company name is. That's what you do. You help people to live truly free. And that's what we're all about here, is just seeking and finding more of the life that we can really have, the freedom that we can have in Jesus, but also just going and fighting for that and grabbing onto it and taking hold of it and taking control of our lives and being able to live into the freedom that's available to us. That's what I think really draws me into you and everything that you do and everything that you're about.
It might interest you to know. So I just came out with it's taken about a year to pull this together. Actually, it's taken longer than a year, but I finally pulled this together. I released it on July 4th of this year, a Declaration of Independence for Entrepreneurs. And Live Truly Free officially started July 4th, 2019. So on our first anniversary, I released this declaration, and I just want to read you the key elements of it.
Okay.
So we declare live truly free into your true self and entrepreneurial vision while creating sustainable growth and profitability. And what that means is that if to live into your true self and entrepreneurial vision, you've got to have growth that's sustainable, and you've got to be profitable, or it just won't work. And I explained that, and there's 3 actions that come out of this. One is to live life to the full with balance and significance. 2, to truly have the liberty to reach your vision as your true self. And 3, free to pursue happiness through success in free enterprise. If you'll notice, it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yeah.
Straight from the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
All to keep on finding greater and greater fulfillment in this life and the life to come. And then I quote, well, there's several quotes in the Declaration of Independence, but the last one is, and this is also in the book, and the support of this, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So that's our cause, that's our mission, that we want to bring to anyone with an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. And that's so cool. And as you're reading it, I'm just getting pumped up and hearing that stuff, because yeah, I mean, it's something that it's like, yeah, that's how I want to, that's how I want to live. I want to be able to live into the freedoms and declare my freedom. I love that, a declaration of my own independence as an entrepreneur. Is that kind of what that is?
So tell all your friends, livetrulyfree.com. So the blog post, currently it's in a blog post. It's right on the front page. But there's a whole lot of story that goes with it. So there's a lot of story there, and it'll be fun to read. So check it out at livetrulyfree.com.
Awesome. Well, we were talking about your book, The Next Level Entrepreneur, and I'm wondering, what is the number one thing that you would want any person who reads your book to get out of it?
Yeah. There's so many things I want you to get, okay? As an entrepreneur, I just know there's so much you're probably asking and wondering about, and no one to tell you. But, okay, so you make that a tough question, Garrett. Thank you. The one thing, if I could pick one thing, it would be how to operate your business strategically. I find most businesses, most people, frankly, operate tactically. And little teaser for the book, I have a chapter in there called Tactics versus Strategy. And the whole point of, I go through some, to process into that chapter, what I was trying to do was get to, and what I actually do, is get to one question to test. Have you written a strategy or a tactic? And I explain all of that in just literally 3 or 4 pages. I think it's one of the best chapters because it's going to get you thinking strategically. And of course, the whole process, which is in the book, the entire process I use at Rackspace is in the book, is about strategy. But there's one chapter in the book that really sets it all up. I call it Ready, Fire, Aim, because that's what most of us entrepreneurs do. We shoot first and then we aim. And I explain in the book how this approach just uses up lots of resources, because we're just shooting, bam, 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 bam. And we're just burning up resources. And instead, we need to take time to aim. And that's thinking and operating strategically.
Yeah.
But that takes a little more time. See, entrepreneurs, we want to get out there and just start doing it, right? And this whole thing is about, no, you got to pause. You got to consider, and then come the tactics.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am just so, exactly what you just said. I'm so guilty of that. I want to go and just fire and see what kind of hits I can get. And I just want to get some hits recorded up on the board. But then I also have all these misses. And then those are costly misses. I'm trying to absorb the misses. I didn't have enough hits to absorb and just all the kind of stuff. And actually, the first time that I read through your book, I was, like I said, I was 17. I was still in high school, and I knew that I wanted to get into entrepreneurialism. I wanted to pursue the business endeavor that I wanted to jump into. And I was like, yeah, I should read something. And yours was the resource that was recommended to me, that was given to me, and I was reading it. But your process is, it's just like you said, yeah, it may slow you down a little bit at the front end, but it saved me probably my entire business in the long run, to just slow down a little bit and start the business with some real strategy.
Yeah,
So
that's
huge.
brilliant. That's brilliant because that is the end goal. I mean, that's the objective. Is if why you burn up resources, and time is a resource. I mean, I've seen people look. There was, and I need I've the name slips me right now, but there's a restaurant chain had 40 restaurants. This just recently occurred, 40 or 50 restaurants. They decided this year to double the number of restaurants, or last year decided to double the number of restaurants, and they did, and they went out of business.
Yeah.
They grew too fast.
Yeah.
And I suspect they didn't have I mean, obviously they had a very lousy strategy. There's two components, Garrett, that you'll see on the front page of the website. So to hit greater fulfillment, I've got a little triangle, and up one side is you've got to understand your numbers, and that's foreign territory for most of us entrepreneurs. I'm not. It's not foreign territory for me because I'm a chief financial officer, but for most, that's what it is. The other leg is how to create sustainable growth, and that's taking your strategies into actions, and those two lead up to greater fulfillment if, and this is huge, if your strategies are sourced in your passions.
Yeah, and one of the quotes that I read in your guidebook, and that's a fairly new resource, is the guidebook
Right.
to creating a next level navigator. Is you'll just have to forgive me if I don't get this quite right, but it's something like your passions are the fuel to your success.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, I think we should mention for everyone out there that these books are available on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. So the whole idea of focusing your passions is that, so as an entrepreneur, look, if you launch an entrepreneurial endeavor, it's going to be hard. You are going to hit headwinds. It's going to be hard as hell at times. And if you're just in it because you've believed some hype that, oh, I can make $1 million, I can go buy a Lamborghini, I want a private jet, and all the BS that's out there, and you're not in it for your own passions and what drives you, you will die.
Yeah.
You will die quickly. And it will be horrible.
Yeah.
You've got to source your direction in your strategies. And that's why I say focus the subtitle of the book. The whole first part of the book, it's in 3 parts. The first part is focusing your passion. Anybody could read that. Everybody could read that just to get the focusing on their passions. And then out of that focused passion, now you map your direction. And if your passion can be monetized, then you've got an entrepreneurial endeavor that could actually work. And when you get hit by the headwinds, then something's sustaining you. And I mean, I think that's been true in your story, right? Where, you love fitness. And if you had started an insurance agency, I'm just picking something random, and you face the same headwinds you face in the fitness industry, you'd have folded like a cheap suit, as they say.
Yeah, there would have been no way. And I gotta say that if I would have known what I was getting into before I got into it, I don't know, man. I even would have done it. But yeah, while I was in it, it was it was the passion for what I was doing is just what drive me to overcome every challenge as it came. So yeah,
Right.
the passion being the fuel, it just feels so true to me. And I love that quote that you have. Everything that I do that's sourced in passion, you know, yeah, it's just fueling. It's just fueling my drive to overcome
Hmm.
and to be grown in the process. I mean, to not just fold like a cheap suit, like you said. Is that a Texas saying or what? I've never heard that.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things. So for all the listeners out there, the book is actually letters between a young guy, Max North, who writes a letter to Mr. A, and uh, they correspond, and this is all said in the 40s, and that statement I think is kind of a quote from the 40s. So
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
don't actually use it in the book. Maybe I'll do it in the second one. You know, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that the letter format that you do just makes it's probably the most readable book, and I've especially book on business than I've ever picked up.
Cool.
Because
Thank
yeah,
you.
you know, I read a letter and I'm like, well, what does Mr. A say to Max in this? Yeah, yeah, and I just feel like Max the whole time I'm reading it. I'm like, yes. And then like I'm thinking like later on in the book, I'm like, man, I wish that Max would ask something like this. And then he does. And I'm like, what's Mr. A gonna say? It's awesome, yeah. And I've read it probably I think 4 times now.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right.
Just reworked my own next level navigator and just
Perfect.
just added and just gaining a deeper understanding of myself and my passions and what brings me joy, what where my interests are and what those interests are about, and just growing just more fully into myself. I think every time I read it, every time I work through the process, there's so much personal growth and even healing. Well, I had a particularly rough year as an entrepreneur, and I think part of some of the healing I got, or at least what initiated a lot of healing I got, was just reading the book.
Wow.
There's so much packed into it that I still haven't gotten everything out of it from the 4th time. So I'm gonna have to go through it a few more times at least to
Well,
continue to
you're,
go back.
you're, you're inspiring me and reminding me because it, I was going through it and doing kind of the final edit because I changed the name um, and I was truing some things up, and then I took that opportunity just to clean up a few more things. It's actually been through 3 serious rewrites, and then the 4th edition is just kind of a little cleanup. And there would be these moments. Look, I'm an entrepreneur, so look, every entrepreneur, if we don't confess, we have down moments and down days and stuff.
Yeah.
Then you're not an entrepreneur. I mean, it just happens. But I'm working through a letter, and it's like, oh my God, okay, I wrote the book, and it's like, but I'm reading this letter, and it's like lifting my spirits. And I'm just like, oh, this was exactly what I needed right now. Thank you, Mr. A.
Yeah. Oh,
Even Max has good stuff too.
yeah. Oh yeah, Max. Yeah. I feel just like Max the whole time. I mean, it's awesome. It really puts me in a place where I feel like I'm sending off the letter, and but I get an instant response. I get to turn the page and read the next letter from Mr. A
Wow,
for my answer
that's
right away. So,
that's
but
cool.
yeah, no, there's a serious anointing that just is that book. It's just whatever I've needed, has started or initiated or just been completely answered in the pages. And like again, I think really what draws me to you is just the way that you just lead your community by example. You yourself are living truly free into your talents and your purpose and your passions of guiding entrepreneurs. And I
Thank you.
that's something that
Thank
really
you.
draws me. It's really draws me into you.
Okay, so I'm inspired, Garrett. I want to do something for you and all your listeners. All right.
All right.
So let's put this link in the show notes or whatever you do with that. livetrulyfree.com/vineyard. Okay. And if you guys will go there, what I'll do is there'll be a link. You just literally will click onto that link. It'll take you over to BookFunnel where you can put in your name and email address and get a free ebook copy of the Next Level Entrepreneur. If you like it, go to Amazon and buy a paperback. Okay. But actually, it originally came out as an ebook. And we've tested this book. We've tested all the processes in the book to make sure that they read properly and with college students. And so hang on. Okay. Yeah. So we've tested all these processes with college students. And one of the things they told me early on was, George, this needs to be a paperback because I want to mark it up.
Yeah.
And so, but if y'all will go to livetrulyfree.com/vineyard, it'll take you to a link and you can download a free copy of the book and start to read what we're talking about. And it'll also subscribe you to the Live Truly Free newsletter where we've got tons of great content coming out. And we should tell them also, currently I'm doing a video a day right now, and so all of that's at YouTube called the Entrepreneur Guide, and Garrett, I'll give you a link for that.
Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you, George. That's huge. That's awesome. And guys, yeah, go and get that download. Get this book. This is a book that no matter who you are, what you do, this book will lift you up. There's such a huge just anointing on every single word in this book. And seriously, no matter what you do, go and get this book. Give this book a read. It's a great story. It's an easy read, and there's so much wisdom packed into this book. And yeah, wow. Thanks, George. That is really awesome. That's huge. And yeah, I've been following the videos that you've been putting out, and I'm just pumped for all of the content that you're going to be putting out. I've been watching those. It's becoming a daily habit for me to make sure that I watch the video that you put out because it's just so timely. You know, whatever I seem to be needing gets spoken through your videos. So it's just yeah. So guys, go and get this book. Check out his videos, his emails, and George, I will confess that when I'm needing inspiration or pickup or whatever it is, you're definitely, your site and your content is what I go to, and I find myself just being inspired and just using and quoting a lot of your work and the stuff that I try to do and motivating and inspiring other people too. And it's been a huge influence in my life. So guys, yeah, this is awesome. Go and get this book. Thank you. That is really, really awesome. So yeah, guys, all of the links for this, I'm going to make sure are down in the description of this podcast, and make sure you can find them accessible, everything. So go and check this out, livetrulyfree.com/vineyard. Get that book, get subscribed, check out his content, and give the book a read. I promise you guys, you won't be disappointed in this book. This is awesome. So George, I know we're running a little low on time here, but there is a question that I've been just dying to ask you, because I know that you've taken companies from the brink of bankruptcy and turned them around. And I just want to know, because personally, that this has been all the uncertainty that's going on right now. it's been hard for me to make decisions for myself, my family, business, future. It just feels like a very it's just like a time of discomfort, of disruption. So how do you suggest we respond to these times?
Well, so that's a gigantic question. And I know we're kind of running, the clock's running. Let me just suggest a couple of quick things, and maybe we can come back and pick this up in greater detail.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be so awesome.
so download the book and go to the chapter Creativity from Disruption. I think I called that right. Let me just double check. Yeah, Creativity from Disruption. It's on page 61 of the paperback. If you bought a paperback, you can find it in the table of contents. It's a long, detailed table of contents. That in that chapter, I talk about disruption, and I would say the shutdown of the economy is pretty dang close to a colossal disruption, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It is a colossal disruption if you're an entrepreneur. And so there's 3 levels of disruption, and it's one of the longest letters in the book. But just a little more teaser, I get into some history in the Renaissance and Brunelleschi's dome, which is built in Florence, but it's all about creating. And I think you got to shut down the negativity. So wherever your negativity is sourcing from, you got to shut that down. And what you've got to do is you got to open up your valves of creativity. And so that's that chapter will have way more in it than I could possibly describe in just a couple of minutes. There's some more stuff. Actually, go to the Entrepreneur Guide on YouTube and look at it's in the Challenge 44 playlist right on the very top of the channel. And number 5, listen to number 5. That's coming out today. Because in that, and I'll just give you the antidote to fear is hope. And I'll leave you with this one thought. Hope, not all courage is hope, okay? But hope equals courage. And I've cultivated a definition of hope over the years into this. Hope is allowing desires to blossom into expectation that goodness is coming.
Wow.
So try those on. I think the video will say a lot. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I know you'll really enjoy it. I need to be more positive about that. So, yeah. So those would be some quick answers there, Garrett.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, George. I hope that we can get together for a part 2 and unpack some of that more. That'd be absolutely great. I know that even from just this conversation and what you just said, I'm gonna have to go through and listen to that a few times and write it down and take some notes and absorb that, because I just as you're saying it, I can tell that it's huge and it's powerful and it's significant, and that's awesome. So thank you for coming on, for talking with me today, and to everyone. It's just so inspiring. Thank you for the offer and you're giving everyone. Guys, go and get the book. You will not regret it, I promise you. And guys, how about this? In the comments, just tell me how you've been disrupted by just all the craziness that's going on right now. How, in what way has that been a disruption to you? I'd love to hear some of that, and we'll get with George again for a part 2, and unpack more about how those disruptions can lead to a creative response.
Yeah, maybe we can. Maybe we can address some of those specifically.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening, George. Thank you. Really excited to talk to you more, guys. before you go do anything else, just 30 seconds, go and get George's book. Just go and do it. I promise you, you will not regret that. It's a great book. So I'm going to leave you with that. Go get the book.
Great,
Thank you, George.
great to be with you. Thank you.